I went to Niger to actually help with the distribution of the shoeboxes. As you know, every year we have a shoebox appeal, and last year the shoebox appeal was to Niger. The shoeboxes arrived in Niger in January, but unfortunately, due to political circumstances, we weren't able to actually get hold of the shoeboxes, and they remained in storage until the middle of April, when, following the election of a new government, we were able to retrieve them. On the first day I was there, the Monday morning, when I went to that particular school, I walked in there and I was accompanied by Jason Brooks, the country director of ADRA Niger. I was also accompanied by a lady from the government education department, as well as a film crew. And we went there, all the boxes were stored in this particular classroom, so therefore that was my first port of call in that I started distribution there. I had distributed boxes to 3 classes, and also what they started doing on that particular morning was sending shoeboxes to other schools in the area, so that I can actually go to those schools and distribute shoeboxes there as well. I did 3 classrooms. That particular school had 400 pupils, but I did 3 classes, and then the rest of the classes, once I had gone, were to be distributed by the staff and the principal of the schools.
Now, tell us about the emotion of the children receiving the gifts.
The distribution of the gifts was very emotional, because you have to look from the viewpoint where most of these kids, the background they come from, Niger is the 2nd poorest country in the world. It is the most underdeveloped country in the world. So when kids come to school, you know, even that's a challenge. A lot of kids, they go to school in the morning and they go begging in the afternoon. So they don't have much. And it was really the reaction. When I first gave them the boxes, I'll present them with a box, and they'll sort of look at me thinking, is this for me? Because being a stranger as well, you know, who is this guy? And they'll think, is this for me? And then they'll take the boxes, they'll go back to their seats, and they'll put them on their desks. And they'll still keep looking at you. And then after all the kids have had a box, we'll then say to them, okay, you can open your boxes. And even then, some of them would still look at you, you know, open the boxes, and then you help them open the boxes. And once the boxes were opened, their elation, their reaction is something that will stay with me for a long, long time, because, you know, the shouting, the screaming, you know, hey, you know, I've got all this, and they don't get things like that. And it was just, you know, the expression of face of these kids, that they had these goodies sent to them, and really sort of, you know, it made their day.
You caused some problems as well, I hear.
We did cause some problems, because when we presented the boxes in the first ADRA school, I then, with the team of people I was with, went along to a couple of other schools, and included in that team was the principal of the ADRA school. And we went to the other schools, we went to the orphanage, and then on our way back, coming towards the school, there was all these kids walking down the road with their shoe boxes. And at this time, it's about 12:15, and school didn't finish till 1. And all of a sudden, there's the principal in the back saying, where are these kids going? Because they were so excited on receiving the shoe boxes, they'd abandoned school for the day and decided to take them home to show their parents. So, you know, it was quite funny. And Jason Brooks said to me, you see, in one day, you've actually upset the whole education system in Niger, because these kids have now abandoned schools because, you know, the shoe boxes are more important.
Tell us something about the quality of the content of the shoe boxes.
The quality of the contents of the shoe boxes was exceptional. It was something I was really happy with, because the thing was, you know, when we send the boxes over, we don't know what's in them. And then we had to give a value of the goods, and we gave a rough value. And when the kids started opening the boxes, one of our staff at ADRA Niger actually commented. He couldn't believe what was in the boxes, and he even said, you know, the actual value you guys have put on these goods is actually worth double that. You know, because, you know, the flip-flops, the slippers, and as I said to you, it wasn't that people are just sort of, you know, taking things they didn't want. You could actually see people actually thought about what they were actually putting in the boxes. And that alone, the value of it, I was really pleased to see, yes, you know, I've come along from the organisation who sent these things, and the people from here, this country, ADRA-UK, the people of the UK, spend so much thought in providing the gifts to these kids. Education in Niger is very hit and miss. You know, sometimes the teachers don't turn up. In fact, one of the schools I went to present the gifts at, the school knew I was coming, but yet still there was no teachers on site when I turned up. The principal wasn't even there. I did a couple of schools in the capital. Some of the schools I did were not in the capital. In fact, one school was way out in the village. You know, we had to go on these dirt roads and everything to get to this school. So we're not just keeping it in the capital, it's a countrywide thing. And I'll say with more interest now from other places within the country, but we want to spread it countrywide to make sure that as many kids as possible benefit from it. Because after all, it was nearly about 8,000 shoeboxes we had.
What is the most treasured moment you have taken away from this trip?
The most treasured moment I've taken away from this trip is the smile on the faces of these kids. And there was one moment on Friday, the last day I was there, I went to a school, and when these kids opened their boxes, their reaction, their shouting, their screaming was so deafening. But it was it's a moment that will stay with me for a long time, purely because you could actually see that they were truly thankful that people from countries who didn't even know them had sent them joy in a shoebox.